Hello, everybody. It is great to be here again today. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I am the host of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And I am proud to introduce my guest, Kaius Meskanen. And Kaius is a founder of Choicy, a Helsinki based company. I mean, he's got an incredible background for everything from the special forces to speaking 9 languages. Just incredible. So, with that, I'd like to bring Kaius on board. Thanks. Hey, Kaius.
Hi, Gary. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, no, it's great to be here. So tell us a little, how in the world did you learn to speak 9 languages?
I actually had to study all of them as everyone else, but I think I was just more interested in most.
And how do you learn like Portuguese from Finnish and, Estonian? What one day you wake up and say, well, I want to speak Estonian. So, I mean, how did you decide to learn the languages? I'm just curious because I know people that know 1 or 2 languages or 3 or 4, but 9, that's a lot.
Yeah, I was living a few years in Angola in West Africa. They speak Portuguese, so I took the courses there. And Estonia is near Finland. In
Mhm.
Helsinki, you can take like 90-minute boats to Tallinn, and the language is very similar, so you can learn it in a year.
Well, I remember I had somebody in my language classes in Russia, and you guys, your verb tenses in Finnish are huge, right? You
Yeah.
got like 16 cases or something. I mean, it was a like incredible amount of cases.
Yeah.
So now that's interesting. Okay, so here's the other thing. So you like to travel a lot. You've gone to 71 countries.
Yeah, it's no, the 73 actually.
73.
Mm.
Now, what's the wildest country you've ever been to? You can say, this was like one of those experiences that you have once in a lifetime.
Uh, Depends, but I would go for Angola in the West Africa. It's special in many ways. It's hard to get there. If you have some friends there, you can see interesting stuff.
And so that was interesting. And then, and you were in the Finnish Special Forces. Now, when you were in Angola, were you with the Finnish Special Forces, or how did all this come together? I mean, it's an interesting puzzle.
No, two different stories. I was running an architecture company in Angola for 2.5 years, back in like 2010, and yeah, it was a kind of a good experience. Very different from Nordics, where I come from, and I think all these different experiences are important in life.
So, I mean, how did you, how do you go to Angola to do architecture? Do you just wait? I mean, what did they say? Well, we would like to have some Finnish architecture or some inspired. I mean, how did that happen? I don't know if anybody that's ever told me they've gone to do architecture in a country in Africa. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but how did it happen?
I was actually planning to start a company in Miami, Florida,
Mhm.
and during that time, I was in Miami and I was meeting some construction companies. Then I met some interesting people from Angola, just like in nightlife, and kind of they persuaded me to work with them in Angola. It was a very good time.
That's great. Wow, that's amazing. Well, you must like adventure because you don't go to now. What countries have you been to? Like top 10. What countries, have you been to that most people wouldn't go to?
Yeah, probably most people wouldn't go. Maybe just for they might not feel that these countries are mainstream enough. But I would probably go for like Angola, Congo, those kind of countries. You know, I really like South American countries. I would say that even if it's not the question, but I would really recommend like Italy and Rome if people like old structures, architecture. I love New York for kind of the after work uh, life. Very different places for different people.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting. And you speak Russian. Have you been to Russia too?
Yeah, I kind of learned the language because when I was running an architecture company in Helsinki, Finland, um, we have a border with Russia. There are a lot of Russian people here who want to build their kind of secondary houses somewhere in the kind of lake side of Finland.
And I know I have some friends that they're finished that have the lake house, and they were just beautiful, actually, just beautiful. And how many months of the year can you go to the lake houses? Is it like in? I lived in St. Petersburg for a while. We didn't have a long summer. Is it the same in Finland?
Same. I mean, it's like 4 months of some sort of summer, 3 months of quite nice summer. The sun is up almost all night. It's pretty cool. And then yeah, I would definitely recommend Finland and Nordics in the summer. It's quite an experience.
No, that sounds great. Yeah, I know. When I lived in St. Petersburg, we had white nights, and in the summertime, when I don't know if it got dark at all. Maybe an hour or two it got dark, but it was an incredible time in June, a time frame. It was just a good party time and a good time for people to get out and have some fun. Okay, so you did. And here's the other thing. Now that I mean, you speak 9 languages. You've traveled to 73 countries. How in the world did you go to Sydney and win a singing contest?
Oh yeah. I was young, and I was singing and playing piano, cello, and guitar, and I was attending some singing contests. This one was 1996. I was 13 in Sydney Opera House, like a UNESCO quite big competition.
Mm-hmm.
I was there with a small singing group, and we won it. It was pretty cool.
Wow. And so, did you ever have any ambition to do a group, or to continue and be in the Eurovision or whatever? Did you look at that career in that or not? Did you what kind of singing was it? Was it rock? Was it?
No, it was classical music.
Mm-hmm.
Classical, yeah, in Finnish, English, and some Latin. But yeah, I never had a career idea. It was a hobby.
That's fantastic. Well, and you got to go to Sydney to do it. So congratulations. And you've done your architecture studio. You delivered over 200 different products, and you talk about delivering outcomes. That's important, isn't it, when you're building a startup? So tell us a little bit about Choicely and in terms of how Choicely's helping people engage and monetize their what's happening with it, and how does that work with the fan base, and what kind of interactive tools are you using to make that happen?
Sure. So the way I see it is that apps are kind of the new norm. It's the most popular platform for engaging fans or buyers, to make sales. People use 90% of their time on mobile in native apps, and the biggest reason, I mean, there are now like 3 or 4 million apps. The biggest reason kind of why there are not like 30 or 40 million is that companies think and feel that it's hard and expensive and slow to build apps. So with the whole no-code thing, we can kind of remove those barriers and enable SMEs and all sorts of companies to have apps without difficulties. And kind of in Choicely, that's kind of one thing. But then another thing is that the apps need to be high quality, otherwise they're not going to be popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fan engagement side, or the engagement tools that we built, we started with the TV show kind of industry. So we're building apps for like ITV studios for Love Island,
Mm-hmm.
and then Universe, that kind of places.
What is it? Love Island?
Love Island. You might not be the kind of exactly the target audience, but it's a pretty cool show.
I mean, I don't watch TV. To be honest with you, I don't have TV, so I don't. I get Netflix and I get Amazon, and so. But what is Love Island about?
So it's an entertainment show where you kind of.
Is that where the couples get on the island and sometimes they meet another person, and yeah.
And then there's they are very good in building the fan engagement on their own platforms, like Love Island apps in different countries and territories. One of the main kind of core features is that the audience can, in some of the episodes, they can actually vote in real time who's gonna drop out or who's gonna stay in the video.
Really, that's great
Yeah,
for fan engagement. Yeah.
yeah. So it's completely up to the audience.
Hmm. Now I've seen it. It's the one I saw that one guy was with this woman, but then he met another woman. It was like this whole tension thing between this couple. I think it's probably the same show. They were on some tropical island somewhere, actually, and
Yeah.
it was interesting. That's cool. So, let's dive in and let's talk about Choicely. Tell us about Choicely. What's happening with Choicely, and what are your goals and objectives, and how you changing the world?
Yeah, I think in kind of big picture, we really want to democratize the building of high quality apps.
Hmm.
So there are so many companies, they can be small, medium, large, that they would kind of benefit of having high quality apps.
Hmm.
They have these barriers. Companies like Choicely and other
Well, they
similar.
can't find the people. I mean, I got to tell you, it's not cheap to find people to try to build apps right now. It's really difficult, and then they don't have domain expertise. They may be able to build an app, but have no knowledge of marketing.
Yeah, and it could be like 200 to 400K to build something. Could take 6 to 12 months, depending on what you're building, and then you don't know the end result. So no code platform like Choicely enables you to have it right now. Like you have some kind of prototype the first day, you'll be live in a couple of weeks.
Hmm.
I mean, you could be live in a few days, but if you kind of work on it a bit.
Yeah, that's great. And so, where is Choicely right now, and what are your plans?
So we're now in a good growth phase. We kind of grew our revenues grew 4 times from last year. Corona was kind of hard in the beginning. Now it's much better. Um, we've been fundraising a bit. We can kind of speed up now, unlike before, and we see a very bright future because we believe that an increasing number of businesses and any kind of businesses in the world are becoming more aware of the benefits of high quality apps, increased revenues, and marketing opportunities, engagement, and there's a very bright future for enabling those businesses to have something great, like their own platforms. There's this side story. Social media platforms are great, but you don't own them, so you're kind of leasing your space. But
Hmm.
if you have your websites and kind of native apps or other kinds of platforms where you own everything, then that's a whole other story how you can engage.
No, it's fantastic. And what's so? Are you global now, or are you just in the region? To talk to the audience about where you are, and I have a wide audience on the show. The 20,000 people watch it. What are you looking for them? Where do you want to go, and how can the group be part of it?
We're now on 6 continents. We have customers from South America to Australia, from US to Europe, Africa,
Hmm.
everywhere. Um, 90% of everything is from outside Finland, where Finland is a great place to build some tech platforms. There's a whole other story about that. Starts with Nokia.
Hmm.
And then my message to everyone, thanks for watching, by the way, is that we're very open for any kind of discussions around being part of Choicely, either as an investor, if you want to build apps for your businesses, or other kinds of partnership opportunities. We're open for everything.
But what exactly? Tell us what kind of partnerships are you looking for?
We have been partnering now with different platforms where for example, with some technology platforms that offer certain kind of technologies, but they kind of have discussions with their clients that they would maybe want to actually have an application and that technology inside the application. And
Hmm.
then they kind of find these walls where they can't build the apps for the clients. So we've partnered with different kinds of technology providers, TV production companies, very different ticketing companies, very different players who are engaging with a large number of customers, and they end up in places where a fast way to offer high quality apps adds value.
So you're dealing primarily with the entertainment for the fan base, or what's your number one vertical market? So if you were out there, and what are the top three, right? Vertical markets.
Top three are like media, sports, and entertainment. We're also in the areas of e-commerce, travel, resorts. We have a political party app, and
a political party app.
Yeah, in Finland, it
What
works
is that
really well.
about?
Imagine, even as political parties, what are you doing? You are spreading your messages. And what would be more powerful than having your own app?
And so, like, give me an example. Give us an example of what it will look like. What's one of the apps that you built, and how's it used? But you don't have to name names, but how does it work?
From which sector?
Political. Let's talk about the political.
Political. So there's always happening in political. There's always the next election coming, right? Different election, local, national, different elections. What do you do around them? You do all sorts of campaigns. You're gonna change this and this thing for better, but you need to reach your audience, right? So what do? You make beautiful campaigns. You spread them probably in social, partly on TV. You have your email lists and your websites. But if you want to go all the way, then part of your supporters, different level of people who want to participate and who would like to be part of your movement, maybe as a registered member or even politician or just a fan who would vote for your party or this person. If you want to get the influence like in a modern way, then you could have the app for that party and get push messages about what's going on right now.
So that what you're doing is you're basically set up the campaigns and everything for them
No. We provide the technology and then we help them to maximize the impact.
Okay, so you're providing what to them? So let's be specific because the audience is.
Yeah, the first. Okay, let's say you have a political party and today you launched an app. First priority is to get people to download it. So specifically, we help a little bit with very specific programs, how you use your social media messaging, email messaging in different ways. Just talking about the app, but also adding the banners in every email that there is an app to be downloaded. Also on web, banners, communication. So if you go through all your channels, then very, very quickly, talking about a few weeks, most of your audience will know about it. The heavy fans and kind of believers will download it first, and then the kind of semi ones, and then the light ones. And then every time you can get one download from one of your supporters, the engagement level comparing to website increases minimum of 400%, and then more depending on your messaging style.
So the key is to get them to How do you do that? How do you get them to download the app?
So that's back to what I mentioned. You go through every platform, make sure everyone is first aware of the application and give them reasons to download it, something extra, maybe exclusive material, something that they don't get elsewhere, and then kind of get the first touch. But once they're downloaded and kind of had the first experience, then they will do something else. But then the next time they'll get the push message that there's something new, like any app. So.
Got it. So what do you, I mean, if you look at it, let's talk about the company in 5 years. Where's the company going to be in your opinion, guys?
Well, according to our plans, it's going to be a unicorn and definitely a global platform within those segments that we talked about, but many others as well. So kind of down the road, once we grow, we will definitely kind of strengthen our capabilities in tens of other segments as well.
And what kind of, you said you're raising money. How much money are you raising right now?
$3 million.
And what kind of, what's the valuation of the company today?
With the 20 million. Yeah.
All right, so investors out there from all over, take a look at Choicely. What kind of growth are you experiencing right now, guys?
This year is 4x last year, and 2020, so that's 21, and 22 will be, depending on our resources, as we all know. But with the organic growth, it will be 2x. With some extra, it will be, depending on resources, 3, 4, whatever X.
That's great. Well, congratulations. Sounds like you're moving in the right direction. And what do you have any closing thoughts for the audience, and how can people reach you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for listening. It's a pleasure to hopefully be informative, and I'm very open for all kinds of communication. So maybe best way to reach us just is to go to choicely.com. That's our website, and then just book a meeting through our Calendly.
That's great. And so, Kaius, thanks a lot. To my audience out there, take a look at Choicely. It's an extraordinary technology that's really helping us to get in touch, to become integrated and part of things, and to do it in the right way and to do it quickly. So we love Choicely. You're doing a great job, Kaius, and the entire team. To my audience out there, thanks again for coming in. I would said enduring coming in for one more edition of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. Love having you here. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. We will be back again next week for another exciting edition next Tuesday. I'll talk to you then, and to all you out there, prepare for the holidays, and let's do it. Let's get shit done. See you later. Take care. Thanks, guys. And thanks to your entire team.
Thanks, Gary.